Welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Seth. Today, in this podcast, we have Victoria with us. She's in her 70s. And Victoria, what's your take on vulnerability and stress? How do you deal with stress in your life? I would love to hear from you.
I have a lot of experience with how to be, uh, how to deal with stress when things happen. My life has not been perfect. I went through a lot of things in life, and later I realized that it's useless. Don't stress about things you can't control. Just be who you are. Don't waste your time impressing men or women or anyone. Just take care of your health, take care of your money, and just be a very good person, a kind person to yourself. Now, this is what I have learned, and I believe that this is the secret to my long life. I don't smoke, I don't backbite, I don't stress about unnecessary things. When I was growing older, being vulnerable for me had been a very difficult thing in life.
You also told me about your husband, right? So, how did you deal with that loss?
When my husband passed by, how I dealt with it was I surrounded myself with friends and family. I was open about my feelings and vulnerability. And also, to avoid the loneliness, I joined this dancing party, this dancing class with a few friends of mine. I am also a very good dancer. I don't dance now because of my arthritis, but I used to be a very good dancer when I was around 20. And yes, I got married at a very young age when I was almost 19 years old. And yes, it was a love marriage with my husband, but life does not always goes perfect. So sometimes in life you have to allow yourself to be someone who is strong but confident. And when I say confident, I mean confident but also vulnerable.
Yeah, I think dancing can be a very soothing and therapeutic experience or activity for anyone who goes through things. And someone told me that once you master your body language, you can easily master your emotions. Like if your body language is confident and in the right pose, you will channel that energy inside of you.
Yes, these things can be very therapeutic, very powerful. I remember when I was a dancer or was taking dancing classes, I had this friend of mine. She was a very you're beautiful woman. She was literally the most beautiful woman of that time. She had black hairs and red nail polish, and she was always talking good to herself and always telling, looking at herself in the mirror and complimenting herself all the time. And I used to look at her and laugh about it. But
Yeah.
I do agree that once you start channeling that energy and talking kind to yourself, you will start noticing a huge difference
Huge
in
difference,
your
yeah.
day-to-day life.
So, by the way, this was one of my friend's question, that how do you manage to stay so positive most of the time, even in your 70s?
I don't know. My personal belief is that life you don't have control over, but what you have control over is your health, the food you eat, or whether if you work out or not, if you don't go to the gym or never pull heavy weights, you can still dance or you can still avoid the smoking, or you can go out for a walk. And I did just that if life gets very stressful, then just find healthy ways to cope up with the pain. But try to find the healthy alternates, please.
So basically, we just have to find healthier ways to cope up with the stress or the things where people are going through. Of course, eventually, at some point.
Exactly. I had some old friends, very close to me, very near me. I love them still, but they were not very open about themselves. They didn't know how to cope up with things. They were not vulnerable. And basically, I lost them because of the overdose or the drugs. And it was very painful for me to watch them, as now I am, and in my 70s, I still look at them and I feel very bad for them because they didn't know how to open up, how to cope up. So this is the reason why please be vulnerable, please open up, please find healthy ways to cope up with the pain, the stress. That smoke you are smoking, or that unhealthy coping mechanism is only gonna make you worse. It's not worth it, my child. It's not. If any one of you children are listening to this, please, child, stop it. Stop this. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your energy. It's not going to do anything right for you. Just a few puffs or just a few shots of alcohol, but it's going to ruin the rest of your life. You have so much life to live, so much beautiful things to discover. Please don't let it ruin you, please.
Crazy. What this addiction or this unhealthy coping mechanism can do to your health, your time, and everything. I totally agree with you on that. And
That's the point, People need to open up and let themselves be vulnerable, because if they don't do that, this is what they indulge themselves into. And then they become into something that they should have avoided from the very first step.
so, Victoria, we're almost done with the podcast. And before I wrap up the podcast, is there any message that you want to give to our listeners about mental health or vulnerability?
My message to the listeners will be about, please be vulnerable, at least with your loved ones, your friends. Find healthy coping mechanisms, because if you don't find the right coping mechanisms, you will end up regretting in the future.
Thank you, Victoria, for having to take your time in this podcast.
Thank you.
I am so happy to have this podcast with you, and I hope we will be having another podcast sometime in the future if our listeners want. And thank you so much, Victoria.
Pleasure.
And as for the listeners, thank you for listening and being a part of this podcast. And I would love to hear from all of you in the comment section about what you think about vulnerability and what are your takes on how you guys personally cope up with your stress, how you people deal with it. No one is gonna judge you, but thank you, every one of you, for being a part of this podcast. See you guys in the next podcast.